Um, so that kind of brings us to our just quick intros here. Our community started in New York City about 10 years ago. We're doing this live, and we moved online a couple of years back. So what we do these events once a month, 10 times a year. So next month we'll be off. We share with you the latest topic, and we will um, just kind of cover the latest trends in marketing tech. That's what we're focused on. I would love for you to join our Facebook group. George, who's assisting me on this call or this session, will be dropping in links in the chat, so keep an eye on that. And we post all our updates, events, announcements, and stuff like that there. So it's definitely a good place to connect. And most recently, I've seen a lot of people post requests for gigs. They want to hire digital marketers or specific talent in funnel building, marketing automation, digital ad management. So if you're an agency, there's definitely an opportunity for you just being part of the group. Now, as a usual, we do general intros. I'll dive into the presentation, and then we'll go into the Q&A section. But as usual, we keep this an open-ended, meaning you can ask question at any time. I'll answer it, and I'll do my best to cover every single one of your inquiries. All right, so who we have right now, I want to give a course, Vbout is a sponsor of this event. So before I begin, I want to share with you what Vbout is and what we do. We are a marketing automation stack. So what we created is a horizontal marketing technology that plugs right into your initiative as a team. Meaning, if you're running a digital lead generation campaign, lead nurture campaign, all the tools that you need from landing pages to forms, pop-ups. We have lead tracking, robust lead tracking integrated as well. A visual drag and drop interface for your sequences and workflows, and a lot more. About 14 tools combined working together. And today we're going to be covering the multi-channel AI chatbot specifically. So this way you can understand how this plugs in into your entire stack. And while many of you have been following the trend and AI is a big buzzword, we want to get into the details of use cases specifically. So that's what Vbout does. We integrate very well with platforms out there via APIs, connectors, plugins, and so on. And we are definitely agency friendly. So if you're looking to resell a product for your clients or brand it as your own, we are definitely a good fit. All right, we can begin with chatbots, multi-channel marketing benefits. Let's begin real quick. As usually, we do numbers. We will cover stats and how this particular industry is evolving. Now, in terms of top benefits of what are the goals of business owners to achieve using chatbots, the major or the top answers were faster replies to messages, offer customer support around the clock, offer automatic replies to repetitive questions. So 70 or 80% of the questions are pretty much the same. So to offset that to a bot that answers those questions is definitely one of the main reasons agencies use it. We have marketing and lead generation, 17%, but this is going to grow as the tech stack matures more, meaning how the chatbot behaves to collect information. And that's one of our main use cases for today is how to leverage the form integration to get lead details as they're browsing your site. Because how are we going to convert 5, 10, 20% of your visitors is a challenge for every marketer, right? Reduce the number of customer support emails and reduce checkout drop-offs by offering discounts. So honestly, if you look at the chatbot behavior at the end of the day, it's almost replacing what you used to have in terms of pop-ups. You have web pages and a little slide-throughs with forms. So chatbots are a little bit more smart, more integrated, easier to train, and they could be running around the clock. So what that means here as well, you guys, is that this streamlines operations by automating customer interactions, right? And generating leads. Now, we're not talking only about your website. We can integrate those chatbots on your social media channels and enhance the reach of your audience. We're talking about scalable growth because the end benefit of all of these deployments is that you can grow on multiple channels at once. And we are in the age of engagement. We pay top dollars to get people's attentions, but we don't spend enough on getting them to convert. At least this is a problem that we see across the board. So with the chatbot, you're actually investing in that particular problem and the entire chain of the lead gen and lead nurture. Now, customer support is big. A lot of companies lose customers because they're not answering fast enough, or there's delays, or they're non-existent at all. There's no reason why you cannot offer 24/7 support at this point and even deploy it in multi-language. So what that means is you can run a bot, and I'm going to show you some samples here how that could be done, 24/7 to answer customers' questions. Many of you take, repetitive questions from your existing clients, from your support inquiries that you've accumulated over the years. You have some documents internally that you've built. All these documents can become gold training for the AI chatbot that you will build. All right, then we have also, last but not least, the lead generation process, and this is how we can leverage it to capture those details. All right, furthermore, some of the benefits, and when people were asked, would you like to interact with a chatbot versus interacting with a real person? The majority of people are starting to feel more comfortable interacting with the chatbots. 60% would actually use and ask questions knowing it's a chatbot. There's nothing secret there. But there is still, a chunk of people who would like to interact with humans. And I believe with more trust in AI and with everything that's going on, this number is going to increase. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to integrate the human element into your support. I do think this is extremely essential. But what this allows you to do is it allows you to tier your support services by offering, fast, quick AI-powered chat, which can cover 80% of questions, common questions. And you can provide premium human support with some sort of a fee. And that's, of course, going to depend on what kind of service or product that you're selling. But that's really what we've seen AI chatbots unlock, is the ability to tier services in that particular department. All right, so continuing on some of the data here before we move into how you can build chatbots in Vbout. So chatbots, as I mentioned, can resolve 70% of customer inquiries. And in Vbout, we noticed that because Vbout is a very large product, we deployed it internally before we even launched it as a SaaS. And our support tickets dropped by 16 to 18%, which is significant. We were able to take all our knowledge base and documentation in a very deep tech product, and people were finding their answers immediately through the bot. So if you have a simple product or simple service, 70% of the questions guaranteed can be answered by the bot. Also, sales departments have reported that they saw an increase in sales by an average of 67%, sorry, by using chatbot and automating certain things like appointment bookings, answering pre-sale questions, and even qualifying leads through the chatbot, which could be significant, right? So integrating the chatbot have a layer of sales qualifications to it that you can deploy, and I'm going to try to cover that as well in the next 30 minutes or so. Last but not least, all of this combined, if you can deploy your AI chatbot for customer support, that means you need perhaps less internal man and woman effort to answer. You're increasing your lead capture. So the money you spend getting traffic to your site, you're increasing lead generation and qualification. All of this is ultimately going to yield to efficiencies and drop and support spend And evidently, all this translates into money into your pocket as a business. All right. So I'll stop glorifying AI chatbot. I'm going to dive into how you can build your own AI chatbot in Vbout powered by AI. All right. So how many of you here have a Vbout license? You can drop in the chat. And if you do not have an AI chatbot license, some of this will still apply to you. And happy to give you a walkthrough of how Vbout works on this front. But the majority of the products actually do share kind of similar base concepts. But I want to show you how this works on the setup side. All right. Awesome. Many of you have a license. Again, if you don't, it's fine. You can stick around to see how easy it is to do so on the platform. So I'll switch my screen right now to get it into the product. Sometimes having multiple screens can be a little messy, like me, like my tabs. All right. So in Vbout, we have a screen which you now should have on the left panel. If you don't have access to it, you can certainly install the AI chatbot components from your add-ons. Okay. Now, if you're new to Vbout, you can sign up for the free tier and install go to integration and install the free tier, which allows you 50 messages to begin with without having to pay anything. Now, furthermore, we allow you to integrate your own API key from OpenAI. If you want to unlock more messaging, because every tier in Vbout has a certain amount of messages that you're capped on, we are using OpenAI's key, API, which means we pay for every message and every response. So if you'd like to connect your own and even toggle the model, we have the ability for you to do so under AI OpenAI. So you just connect your API key, and you can choose which model to deploy. Now, mind you, the Turbo is the cheapest per call, but it doesn't provide the best quality answers. 4 is a lot better in terms of answers. However, it's expensive. 4.0 is in between both. So it does give better answers than those two models, and it's a little bit cheaper. So I would recommend using 4.0 if you would like to go with your own model, that is, to increase the chatbot component messaging. Okay. However, with the tier approach that we have, you don't have to deploy it. You just have to pay based on how many messages you estimate. Okay. But I'll skip that part. And I want to begin by building a chatbot with you. Okay. So it's super easy. I click on Create AI Chatbot. Okay. And we have 3 different components. By the way, this is similar to how ChatGPT allows you to build GPTs. The only difference here is that you can go public with this. We have a layer of analytics. We can collect so much data as well, which I'll show you in a second. And the visibility is insanely kind of consolidated with everything else on Vbout. So let's start with the inputs. Input is the data source you'd like to feed the product. And anytime you're building a chatbot, AI-powered chatbot particularly, you need to train the data on a data set. So what we do here is we take your sources, we augment the data, we strip it down into arrays and vectors and stuff like that, and we kind of categorize it so when people ask questions, we know exactly where to pull the data from. And while building a GPT is usually limited to a certain amount of characters, we have a lot more flexibility when building AI chatbots using the Vbout platform. So here I can specify the input of the data, which could be an RSS feed. And this is really important, guys, because if you have, let's say, a WordPress website, if you have a product feed on some e-commerce stores, they give you an RSS feed link. So that's all you need is to feed the link into the product, and Vbout will pull all the data from that feed. You can begin the learning immediately, meaning today. And you can specify how often to refresh the data. Now, I want to mention something called character training. Character training is basically how many characters inside your source. If you have, 100,000 characters, they're going to translate the learning model. If you would like to refresh the data, I would recommend doing it on a weekly or monthly basis if you have large websites, okay? And you can specify the day of the month that you can do that. Now, that's because you want to get the latest updates if you're launching blogs consistently, if you have new products being pushed out, it's always good to refresh it based on what you see fit. But getting that data, refreshing and pulling the latest details is what we can do on this view, okay? Now, the beauty about this interface is that it lets you specify multiple sources of data. So I can have a YouTube transcript. And the reason we did this is that a lot of our customer base are recording webinars and events like this, transcribing it on YouTube. And all you need to do is just upload it to YouTube, really. And then we can pull the transcript directly from your YouTube link. So this is super easy to transform your events, your talks, your recordings into a knowledge base with a visual AI chatbot on the front end. Okay. Now, again, starting to learn. Now, because it's a YouTube video, you don't need to refresh the learning process. So you just run it once on a specific day and time. You're good to go. Okay. All right.
Richard, sorry, your voice is lost for a few seconds, but we're just making sure that everyone can see you, can hear your voice now.
Okay. I can hear you now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I think if you miss the character training, is that when you have, let's say, 500 word document, or you have a website that's really large, we take all the content from your websites and documents and we process it through the training model by breaking it down into arrays and vectors and stuff like that. This is to make the AI chatbot a lot smarter when breaking down your content. We call this RAG, or the augmented process of breaking down the content. So every time you process data, you're using characters. And Vbout will let you process 20 million characters per month on an ongoing basis. That's a lot of data. I don't want you to be too concerned unless you're exceeding this information or this limit. I'm sorry. And we give you a little tool, kind of progress bar inside your account to show you exactly if you're reaching your limit. Okay. So with that being said, characters is just taking the copy and the text, breaking it down into vectors, and then processing it for better responses and faster responses. Okay. All right. So here you just put in the YouTube links. And yes, you can add multiple YouTube URLs. I think it's up to 10 if I'm not mistaken. And you don't want more than that, right? But if you do hit a limit, you simply drag another one and add another 10. Okay. I know some of you might be pushing short form videos of 1 minute. Why not just feed that all into the platform as well? Now, we have an option here to drop in your web page URLs in case you want to turn like your client's website. And by the way, some agencies have started doing this, is they're taking their prospects' web pages, feeding them into Vbout and create a sample chatbot, and then telling the client, hey, I created a chatbot for you, so you can see how you can interact with it. And you can take really any web page. Let's say I can go to my Vbout pricing page. I'll take that URL. All right. And I'll put the link here. And I can have multiple links as well in this same view. And just like the RSS feed, I can refresh the content on an ongoing basis. Okay. Which is uh, pretty powerful. All right, I think I just need to remove these and we are good. All right, so I have multiple sources. As you can see, the data is not capped to one source. I have services that I've tried in the past that caps me to one source. So this is definitely a lot more flexible. Now here there's an API endpoint. This is certainly an advanced feature for those who are working with products that they built and they know exactly what they're doing. You need to be using like an API through Open API. Okay, this is not OpenAI, different. And where you load your endpoints there, it gives you links that you can load. So this is a really nice way to kind of integrate with your own product. If you have a dev team that knows how to build this stuff, I think you open up a whole new service for you and for your company to offer third-party clients the ability to turn their products into a chatbot so you can communicate directly from the chatbot itself. Okay. Now I know this is advanced, probably um, some of you might know how this might work, but I just want you to know that we have and we are thinking to make this chatbot a lot more powerful than just simple PDF processing per se. Okay.
Richard,
And
can you take up? Sorry, can you take a couple of questions, or you prefer to finish this part and we can then go to
yeah,
the
I'm
question?
almost done with this part and I'll take questions, the input part. The last is ability to import your own files, which of course is probably the most efficient way to do it. So you can write your own documents and deploy those documents and import them into the model so the model can train on it. I'm pretty sure many of you have catalogs, and I work with this company in manufacturing that have hundreds of thousands of SKUs and product names, and they were able to feed it into this engine so people can interact with the chatbot and answer questions directly from that catalog, which is very, very powerful use case right there. So all you got to do is just choose the file, drag it and drop it, okay? And tell the system to break it down and learn how to answer questions directly from the CSV. Now, because Vbout integrates with many major e-commerce products, we're going to have the ability for you to choose a feed that we already have pulled on your behalf. Um, just a more effective way to get the product feed. But for now, you can simply import those documents. And it's funny because I was working with this client last week, and what they did is they used ChatGPT to summarize their own websites and turn their pages into like FAQs. So they did that on ChatGPT, exported the content into a PDF, and eventually imported it into the system, turning what I would say would take days of work into just literally about 20 minutes process, which is pretty fantastic. So the file input is super easy. Just upload your files of any of these formats and you should be good to go. I think the uploads are now capped at 100 megs, but that shouldn't be an issue if you're using, a simple PDF, Excel files. That's a lot of data right there. Okay. So that's step number one, is to identify your data source, working with your clients or with your team on what you want to train the bot on answering. And once you've got that in place, you're pretty much ready to move to step two. So George, I'll take any questions right now.
Yes, thank you, Richard. First question from Eric. Eric said that he doesn't see all those outputs. He only sees the landing pages and the website.
Yeah, it could be based on the tier. If you're on the free tier, you need to probably upgrade to the tier after to see the other outputs. So right now we support the messenger bot and website, landing pages, and Twilio. We're working on the other channels as well, but they're not live for everybody. But I'm gonna get to that part too.
Okay, thank you. A question from, let's see, Lan. Lan is saying, can we put in multiple YouTube video links, or can we
Yes.
just, yeah, the
Yeah,
YouTube
it's
channel?
multiple video links. It's not the channel link for now, Lan. Okay, it could be good maybe in the future. Um, but yeah, for now, you have to parse every single video. That's a good suggestion. I guess
And
the key idea here, Len, is for you to be just pumping your videos and not worrying about coming back to the bot and putting it in, correct?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Lan, can you clarify the other question? Can it be live together with my bot just in case I need to step in?
Yeah, we have a phase three of the bot's gonna allow you to kind of have a chatbot interface. You can do a human handover and you can answer instead of the bot. Right now, we started with the bot and we're collecting the data. We're showing you the data as you'll see in a minute. But in the future release of I think phase three, you will have an interface to interact back and forth.
Okay, thank you. Question from Amir. Is this chatbot HIPAA compliant? If not, can we make it compliant for specific websites?
Right now, it's integrated with Vbout. We don't have the HIPAA compliance piece in place, something we've been considering for quite some time. But as of now, it's not HIPAA compliant, if that's what's needed. But if you're training the bots on basic data um, to answer questions and stuff like that, I'm not sure the HIPAA piece is really necessary, even though I would recommend you communicate with a legal counsel on this. But if you're not collecting some sensitive information from your customers, or let's say your website visitors, then HIPAA might not be as necessary. Okay. Again, legal counsel is the best person to ask.
Okay, thank you. Len is also asking, can this AI bot do SMS messages? Can I add AI bot in an SMS group with me?
It can. I'm going to show you a use case. It has to be through Twilio. So you gotta have to purchase a number through Twilio or port it to Twilio, however, whatever they offer there, and then you'll be able to interact with it. I'm going to show you a use case for that as well, Lem. Okay.
Thank you. Question from John. How do we set up chatbots for specific customers?
Um, well, in terms of how you set up the bots, and I'm just going to save this and exit right now. Um, the bot is super easy to deploy on your account, but if you have a client and you're an agency, what you can do is create different use cases for bots. And Vbout has this awesome feature for agency that allows you to copy a, an asset. It could be a chatbot, a landing page, an automation, an email campaign to a sub account. So once you've configured your different chatbot recipes, if you want to call them, you can easily copy those chatbots to a sub account, which basically copies the entire structure and some details. But that will let you template things and duplicate them easily. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
We're having some off-topic questions, but we can keep them till the end.
Cool. Cool. All right. So thanks. Absolutely. I know Leland's asking how we can integrate the chatbot with other CRM. I'm going to leave this topic to the last point because I'm going to talk about how you can extend the bots into your multi-channel campaigns, and not just stay, stop at the bot collection level. So I'll come back to that and see if there are ways for us to handle it. Okay. All right. Perfect. So that's the first step, identifying your sources of data, which is honestly very flexible as you saw. And we're going to be adding more in the near future. We have a lot of plans for this. Now, the second is to create the bot itself and personalize it for your needs. So I'm coming back to this. Once I drop my inputs on the left, you switch to actions, and now we generate the bot. Now, the reason we did it this way, or the interface started this way, is that we have plans to do more than just generate the bot, perhaps do follow-on messages on almost like a drip campaign over Facebook and the other channels. But for now, you just drop in the bot and you link, this is very important, the source of data to the bot that we're about to configure. Okay, you guys, so this is super, super important, is for you to link the sources of data. If I break this, that source of data will not be in the training process, okay? So I just want you to be aware of that. All right, now I double click on the generate bot and I'm going to configure the bot as I see fit. So the step label is just for your own reference. It doesn't matter what you call it, but then the bot name and subheading do matter. In this case, we need to give it a title. Many of you can give the bot a name. This could be, you know, I know, Einstein AI, or you can say this is AI bot assistant. Whatever is the name that you prefer, and then the subheading of the bot. So in terms of how it looks, we're talking about configuring this name and this subheading under the name, okay? You're literally just configuring those two pieces of information. So ask anything. Now I can upload the avatar and the bubble icon. The difference between both is that this is the avatar of the person speaking, and this is the bubble icon on the bottom right of the screen, okay? So we let you customize both. Some people like to have a different avatar, but some would like it to be the same. So either way, you can upload your own logos. Ideally, make them 74 by 74 pixels or square, okay? Then you give it an accent color. The accent color is going to impact this heading and some basic kind of colors like this bubble background, the chat bubble. And now we're going to give it instructions, default prompts, and what happens if there's no answer. So these three are quite common. The instructions is answer, okay, answer like an e-commerce expert in men's clothing, be funny and professional. Okay, and obviously the more you can parse it as in terms of instructions, the better the bot will respond. The default prompt could be the first question. Hello, I am an AI trained assistant. I will answer any questions. So this is just the first thing that they see the moment they launch the interaction with you. So let me just go back here and start a new conversation. So I'm talking about this particular line that you're looking at. And then what happens if there's no answer, which happens sometimes? An AI cannot find the reply from the repo of data that was trained on. Sometimes it just hallucinates. You expect errors here and there. But overall, you can just say, I am sorry, I could not find the answer. Email support at company.com for faster response, for example, okay? That's it. These are some very basic bot behavior and personality, colors, theme. And I think this week or the next, we're going to be launching default prompts, which will allow people to click on it. So the moment people visit here, they might see some floating prompts they could click on. And also, I believe when this opens up, the prompts will be here. So it guides them to ask the first set of questions, okay? So default prompts will probably be added on this view, and you can fill them out optionally, that is. And now in terms of the kinds of integrations we'll be doing, we will be integrating, well, we already integrate with forms, but we're going to be integrated with our calendar booking component so people can book you directly through the calendar booking, which is an alternative to Calendly, that is. If you can set that up in Vbout, you can configure it with your own calendar like Google or Outlook and specify availability, answers, hours, etc. And that will be a third option here. But for now, the form integration is about 90% completed. What I mean by that is just the Facebook interactions to launch the form is being bound up this week. So you can do it, integrate the form, you enable it. You can make the form required or skippable. People can click skip to not answer any questions. You can prompt the form when the AI bot does not answer or cannot find an answer. You can show it to anonymous visitors or to your contacts or none. Well, none defeats the purpose, right? You need at least one of them. But also what happens, you can program it to display after asking 5 questions. Okay. Maybe you want to allow them to ask 5 inquiries, then after that, prompt them with the form. So these are some default behaviors to control how it works. And here we have the styling of how the form grabs the information from your customer. It can either be a prompt format or it could be embedded within the chat. And I'm going to show you exactly the difference here. Now, if you do embed form, you can literally collect payment information, create products, multi-step conditional fields, leveraging the power of the Vbout form feature, okay, which is very, very robust. If you do a prompt, it can collect basic text fields like emails and phones and names and stuff like that. So the difference with the prompt is that it's going to ask for first name, then last name, and that format, whereas the form is fully embedded. Then you choose where to add people, because in Vbout we have a list and forms. So let's say I want it to be on my I don't know, ABC company here. And you can build this before you come to the bot and specify all the fields you'd like to add, and that's it. And now you choose the form prompt, which means before asking for information, you can say, please fill this form to reveal your coupon code. That's it. And you're done. So that's the second step, is to configure the form personality, behavior, and also integrated with form optionally. You do not need to, but for lead generation purposes and for lead capture purposes, you certainly want to add that to your bot. So I'll take a quick pause here to get any questions on this before we go to step 3.
Mainly, Richard, I don't see any. Okay, let's see. Godly feature, great work. Thank you, Pierce. John is saying sending data to ChatGPT may not be HIPAA compliant anymore. Okay, Ross, how do we create forms?
Yeah, forms are quite simple in Vbout. So if you go to your contacts on the top, you go to lists. Basically in Vbout, every time you create a list, we give you a form that comes automatically with the list. So any list that I have, let's say this one is landing page, blah, blah, blah. On the right side, you'll see fields and forms. So what you can do is you can customize the fields of your list. When I say fields, I'm talking about common things like names and emails and companies. You can either use the default fields or you can build and drop your own. So we have all these different types like text areas, numbers. We even have checkout forms. You can upload products into the platform and sell your products through the form. Awesome feature. Have it a multi-step and even have conditional fields. So if somebody answers something on here, you can display another field as well. So that's how you can build out the form, which at the same time builds out the list fields. And then the embed option lets you take this form and add it to your site. And the look and feel of those forms can be managed through here by managing colors and alignments. And also, every time you create a list, we automatically give you a splash page for the form that you can customize. So it'll be a publicly facing form URL that you can change the colors and stuff like that too, okay? So that's also an added bonus. So this would look something like that. Backgrounds and sizes and stuff can be definitely controlled, all right? Very simple. So again, lists, forms, they come together inside the Vbout platform, all right? Now, furthermore, the behavior of the form is next level advanced stuff because you can allow multiple submissions from the same email. You can turn on autoresponder so people have to verify their opt-in. You can notify your administrators when somebody fills out the form. You can redirect people. So there's a whole slew of options here that you can attach to the form when people fill it out, okay? Again, a form component is one of the essential elements in Vbout that probably 90% of our customer base use it. Whether you can add it on your site and now within your chatbot.
Thank you, Richard. Eric is asking, first he said it would be awesome if we could give the option for the user to copy the result. And then he's asking, can we make the option to show but on a specific domain page?
Eric, these are two great suggestions. Right now, the the copy option is not available. I'm going to suggest it to the team. The ability to just display it on specific pages is not available yet. It could be option in the future. Right now, when you enable it, what happens, it's going to follow your setup under the settings domain. So if you verified your domain tracker code, it's going to follow that. And by the way, those of you who haven't, under the website tracking, there's a domain setting and an option to activate the chatbot right here. Okay, so you have to get that step activated before you can deploy chatbots on your website. So I'll suggest it to the team as well to see if they want to limit that to certain pages. Thank you for the suggestions.
Thank you.
Sure. Perfect. All right, coming back to the bot. I know this is the last step right now before I show you some use cases and how it actually works on the front end of things. So with the third step, after you've generated the bot, now you're going to choose where do you want to launch the bot. Ideally on your website. So you drag and drop your website bot, and this is attached to the tracking code I just showed you. So you add your domain, we give you a code like Google Analytics, you verify it, and now you can display that information right here. So if I go to my website bot, I select any of the domains that I have enabled, okay? And that's it. That's all I got to do as long as my tracking code is active and that little feature is turned on, okay? So now I've activated the bot on my site. I don't need to add or install additional code. The second option is to deploy it on my Facebook account. Now, because Vbout has an entire social media suite that lets you connect, I think, 6 top channels, what you can do is choose any of your Facebook pages that you've connected to have the bot answer the messenger questions, okay? And look how many we integrate with now. So you can see as we are able to tap into APIs when they're available, we can potentially deploy the bot in several different channels. So the main one we're aiming for is going to be WhatsApp and Instagram, so we can leverage those highly trafficked channels. We just need to work on the APIs. Anyway, so once you've connected your Facebook page, let's say, now the bot is going to be available. You choose which channel. Let's say George, and now I can select the page under George. Staging, if they have any. So these are maybe not authenticated, but if they are, you can see what I have. I have Vbout and Solve My Homework. These are just 2 test pages, and they are both already in use. It shows you that the bot has been used, so you're not going to have multiple bots being deployed on the same channel. All right. And you can deploy them definitely on the Vbout landing pages. And this is what I did my examples on. And once you build pages in Vbout, they'll be available for you to launch the bot on. Super simple. So that kind of is a little workaround for you, Eric, in case you just want to deploy it on a specific page. It could be a Vbout splash page. And last but not least, for the time being, you can deploy it on your own tool, your phone number. And I'll show you in a second an example. So you can have multiple phone numbers connected to the system. All you need to do is just choose it right in here. And that's it. That's really all it takes for you to launch this bot. And obviously, you can go ahead and test it. All right. Um, Now here on this view, it's going to tell you what channel has been deployed on. Like you see, this one is leveraged on 2. This one is leveraged on 3. And yep. So any questions on the third channel before I dive into a live use case?
No, just Shireen is asking if the bot is available on LinkedIn, but we hope it will be in the future.
Not yet, yes. As soon as they open their, because you need a couple of steps there. You need to have the API integration with their messenger. They don't have an API open for the public yet for that. And second, you need the webhook that grabs that information the moment it comes in, right? It needs to be instantaneous. So these are the two steps that we need to be on the lookout for. But given that we have a lot of integrations already, I mean, we connect, we can publish, we can manage an entire, responses really under the streams. Many of you might not even know how powerful our social suite is, but we really have built a lot in here. So these are, for example, our Facebook page. Um, this is an AI bot conversation that I just tested before the call. And I can see exactly what's going on, and I can even take over and start answering on this view. Okay. This one, for instance, is another one. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, sure, John. Thank you for your enthusiasm, and we will send you and everyone else the recording.
Thank you, George. Thank you, John. I know you're in celebration mode. So yes, good luck for England on the final this Sunday. All right, so I have two examples here, you guys. If you see, this one is launched on 3 channels. This one is a very simple use case as well. I created the source of the data, which was 3 2-hour long videos. I generated the bot to answer specific questions and integrated with the basic form. Okay. And I launched it on a sample landing page that I created. So this page was created on Vbout. It literally took me about 2 minutes to build this out. Very simple. And on the bottom right, you can see the bot available. If I click it, I can track my entire conversation history, which is pretty cool, right? I can see all the conversations, the back and forth. Um, Vbout keeps track of that and it attaches it to my IP address and further other details. But I can start one from scratch. And I think programmed the bot. Let's look at the form to display the form after one question. So let's see how that looks like. um, Fitness. So this supposedly is going to go into all the transcripts and it's going to try to find the answer. And if it doesn't, it's going to display what you see right now is I have a form that was embedded into the process. So I'm going to try to fill it out real quick. Choose a date. All right. So what I did, actually, I created a checkout process here by adding 2 different products. So I have a starter product and an advanced, um, which I can choose one. That's just the way I programmed it. I could have it to be able to choose two. And I have a card integration that connects my card number, and so I can make a complete purchase right through this view. Now, of course, I'm not going to do that, but I just wanted you to see that the bot can literally become an e-commerce channel for you and for your customers. All right. So this is a very basic use case that's coming directly from the bot that you see here. Okay. Now, before I had asked some questions and I answered, and straightforward stuff. But let's look at how it interacts with SMS. So I have a little SMS here that's connected to a different bot. So what I'm going to do is ask it a simple question. What is AI in sales? And this is a session that we at Vbout did with a guest speaker. We talked about AI in sales. So now I asked the question, and again, I'm using my phone number. This is a recipient on Twilio. The message is going to go through Twilio, and Twilio is going to give me back the response in a couple of seconds, really. So just have to be a bit patient. I believe the same bot I have is on this page, which you can see completely different color palette, completely different details. Let me see if I can. All right, I got the answer. So this is the answer coming in from the bot, which you can see right now. Okay. Now this was programmed to answer after a couple of questions. Um, let's see if it's going to prompt me with the form because I already answered. So usually uh, I already answered with my details to the form. So this is how the form behaves on the SMS. It's going to ask for please fill the data below. Ask for email, phone number, first name. And you notice anything that has skip, that means this is an optional field on the form. And Vbout lets you make fields optional or required. If it's required, this will not be displayed, okay? So this is usually handled that way. And you can change the labels. Like you can have it say, what is your last name? What is your first email? All this stuff can be fully configured from the form component itself, okay? So I'm sorry, let me go back to my SMS, too many screens here. So technically the system already recognized that it collected my information, is not going to ask me again for my information, which is good behavior to prevent. So that's an SMS communication, you guys. As you can see, I can easily turn a number into a 24/7 response. Pretty awesome. I can collect information, and I'll show you in a second how I can put that information into an automation process. All right. The last part here is connected it to my Facebook. I created a sample page here. And now I can ask questions as well. What is Vbout? Now, I want you to note the behavior that you will see that it's writing. So you can see the bot is responding. Now, the person on the other side might not necessarily know that this is a bot, but it's up to you if you want to identify it or not. But the response was pretty immediate, as you can see. And the form behavior is also going to work in here very soon, meaning I can ask the person, hey, would you like to grab this 50% discount code? Why don't you leave me your details and I will give you the code via email. So I can collect email using this particular channel, okay? Now, basically what happens after all this stuff is being collected, the bots are working nice. The beauty about the system is the visibility it gives you to the data that were collected. Okay, so everything on the right side has analytics, 52 conversations, or in this case, yes, and 7 new users captured. All right. If I go into the analytics section, the platform is going to tell me how many conversations came from each channel and how many users I have captured. So in this case, I have 1 user that came from Messenger and 3 conversations, 1 from the landing page. Because I'm using my own API key, Vbout calculates that for you, so you know exactly how much you're spending, if you are using your own API key, that is. And below, it's going to give you exactly every person and every conversation. So the one that came from the site is this, and I can read the back and forth, okay? Below, I can see the conversations on Messenger. So even though I don't know the person's email yet, but in Vbout, I create a profile on these people. So I can see their social profile on the system. So this is pretty much the entire conversation history between me and that person directly on the Facebook Messenger. All right. Now, hopefully, if the person was cookied and they filled out the information, they'll be added to your database. Now, the SMS option also captures phone numbers and details. So let me just show you an example here. Where is it? Like this one. So you can see in the SMS channel that I just deployed, I had two different conversations. Let me read one of them. Okay, so this is one. And this is the answer that I just got in the SMS. All right, you can see the timestamp. And the timing is just because this is a different time zone. So now my SMS or my phone number can become a lead capture form. Now, because Vbout is a fully integrated system, every conversation that you have with somebody is going to be added to their profile. So now I can see a little summary showing me not only how many emails they opened, landing pages, and website they visited. AI chatbot conversations is also an option right here. Okay. So this really shows you the power of using a unified platform like Vbout to deploy AI chatbots very easily. All right, so
Interesting.
the last part here is the deep integration with marketing automation. And I know it shouldn't stop after you've collected the lead. Vbout's power is the ability to get those emails and add them to your workflows, existing workflows, that is. So it's not stopping on that particular stage. So I can go into my automation, build a logic. This is, by the way, the visual automation editor, and say the moment somebody is added to a particular form, which could be the bot, right? Let's say I'm working with an AI chatbot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them an email. I can send them follow-on SMS, even though I don't have to. But I can also add a tag to their profile, and I can synchronize them to a third-party app. So if I want to send them to monday.com or any other third-party platforms, there's a way for me to do it, either by using a webhook option or by obviously using a Zap or middleware connector, okay? So this is kind of how we integrate with, monday.com. I know we had this question, is through either Zapier and the families like Zapier, our API, or sync to third party, okay?
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Will. Will is asking was asking about the webhook if it's ready or not. So he said that you answered this question, and Pierce as well had the question about the webhook.
Yeah, so this one sends the details out. I mean, if you know what you're doing, they're going to give you a URL there. You can put it here. And I believe there's an option for you to send dummy data, and you just play around with this. It's a little more advanced. But there's a webhook option to send out information, but also we have a webhook option to receive information, which we added last month. So if third-party apps can send us details, Vbout can gladly receive those details and create a full-on automation on that. Okay. So
Yeah.
the sky is the limit here, you guys. You can create a task in the pipeline and use that as a soft CRM. So every AI chatbot submission can become like a deal for your sales team to follow up with. You can literally do a lot just on here, as you can see, okay? There's branching involved, there's filtering, so you can check filters. And if you used it for an e-commerce option, you have the completed order, which acts like an e-commerce automation process as well. So there's a lot into this, which probably needs to be its own session. But I just want you to think way beyond the chatbot, AI chatbot, that is, because it doesn't stop there. And as somebody who's bringing this conversation to your team or to your clients, you want to show them the big picture, right? We are bringing all that traffic to your site, just spending so much effort, money, events, paid ads. How can we convert a lot of those into leads? And once they turn into leads, how we can nurture them and to get the proper kind of follow-on cadence. So your team are aware that you have a new lead that came through. So this entire full picture can be built inside the Vbout instance. All right. Now, the last slide here for you guys is some very awesome use cases I've seen for the chatbot worth sharing with you. One is a catalog search. Many companies have changed the search of their catalog from the default into more enriched chatbot conversations. So people can ask product questions. As long as you feed the bot the product SKU, name, price, URL, images, and rich description, the bot can really work well with that data. Coupon incentive. So some are incentivizing people to fill in a very simple form via the prompt format, and then they will email them a coupon code. Now, why they email them versus displaying it on the bot, which you could, the main reason is you want to incentivize people to interact with your first email so you can be moved out of spam or promotions tab. So that little behavior of pushing them to open the email to access the code can play a role in your email reputation. People are using it for event registration, exactly like I showed you the form. They're actually creating tickets. If you want to sell tickets, you certainly can, and collecting details from people. Bot e-commerce. So that's basically similar to the catalog search, except it's going to have a little bit more rich cards. This is coming soon as well with you have a carousel of products and product suggestions. We're running small internal pilots on this. And then we have pre-sale questions. So you can load all your, what people ask you before they buy from you. I'm pretty sure you have them all on some sort of a PDF or, internal file. You can upload them into the system. These are very specific use cases that I've seen and gating content as well. Okay. Um, Very excited about this bot. I know many of you have started using it, but if you haven't, this is a great chance for you to, um, explore it, not only for you, but as an agency. If you are reselling AI chatbot or AI services, I mean, this is right there, product that's ready to be deployed, the benefits of which could be immediate. It's not one of those fluffy things we're going to create content because anybody can do that now, right? The idea is how we can leverage this to optimize efficiency in our internal work by minimizing support, converting leads into potentially deals. Um, and as you saw some of these use cases. So I'm going to take some final questions, but if you don't have a Vbout instance and you're curious and understanding if Vbout can fit your marketing need, because we do a lot more than chatbot. This is one component of the whole stack. It's like an operating system for your marketing team. George will be dropping a link. You can speak to one of our success managers, you can identify if we are a good fit for you or not, pretty much in the first 15 minutes. I would love to have a conversation with you because I really truly believe that the entire stack is so necessary right now. And you can start literally free and just get your way up into what you need. Okay. So I'll take any final questions here, you guys. I know I'm over the hour now.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Guys, I posted the book demo link. And regarding your questions, John and Leland, we'll get back to them. I know they are off-topic questions, so if you can bear with us a little bit, and we'll get back to you, of course. Russ is having a question, Richard. Can we get, if you remember, you were showing us how to create the chatbot, and you tested it, right? What's Vbout? And then the bot answered. So Russ is asking, can we get that as an option in the widget too? So it's more conversational?
Can we get that in the widget? I'm not sure I understand. I'm sorry. what do you mean by in the widget?
It's he asked the question in the section when you were showing us how the conversation. How, for example, when you type "what's Vbout" and then we get yeah here you got
Right.
the answer.
Yeah, this is my SMS. I sync my phone into this view so you can see how my phone is behaving. So from my phone number synced to my computer, I sent out an SMS question and I got this response back from the bot. Um, I'm not sure if I'm answering the
Yeah,
question or
but
not. I just,
no, he said that, yeah, he just replied the questions from the form rather than the form.
okay.
Yeah,
Let
that's
me
what
let
he.
me see let me see the question here. Great updates. Is there a chat analytics widget on the dashboard? That's coming soon as well, Shireen. That's we have about 6 widgets, I believe, or 5 widgets. We're gonna take the same analytics you see here, um, drop them as widgets on the dashboard, and we are also trying to kind of give you like the top questions that people are asking, so you have visibility to that too. I believe a few of them are in the works, so please bear with us perhaps on the August release or something, end of this month or August release, okay? Okay, so rather than embedding the form, can we have the option to have the AI conversational ask the question and fill the form on the back end? Um, so Ross, I believe, maybe please help me
Yeah,
understand the question. Do you want the bot to, instead of displaying like it did before, let me see if I can change the behavior here of the form. So instead of having it embed, I can change it into a prompt. Now, I did choose like a payment form, so maybe that's not the best case. Let me change into ABC company. I'm gonna try this one. Let's see. You can certainly have it ask a question instead of embedding it. What is health misinformation? I don't know, just something random. Okay, so you see this now. I changed the style into a prompt. Now you can change this because I have it programmed. So now I can say rich at vbout uh, 2.com. It's going to ask the second prompt from the form. So you don't want to have very large prompts if you're using this particular flow. Um, Now I'm going to skip full name and details about the project. And now it says, thank you for your feedback. So basically, what's supposed to have happened now is I should be capturing that information right into the back end of things, and I can continue the sequence process from here. Okay. Yeah, you just have to toggle that behavior.
okay, thank you, Richard.
Yeah, so you can see right now I have rich, V about 2, and this one is another example and a few others that I added to. Okay, cool.
Okay. Question from Amir, a good question. Is AI voice agent on the roadmap?
Possibly, possibly. We want to do a lot, but we want to gradually get into very good response. And it's getting cheaper to deploy these things because when we first started, the messages were quite expensive. So we want to eventually move everything to 4.0, which is pretty good with answering. And after that, 4.0 is a multimodal, so it can answer some things. But I have a vision of integrating it into a voice so you can actually speak back the answers and so on. So we have some ideas internally on this.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Question from Dimitri. He's concerned and asking about, sorry, are there protections in place so for anti-competitive behavior? For example, they could start spamming my bot with junk, so I run out of messages.
Um, that I mean that's a challenge that's gonna happen with pretty much anybody. We haven't seen it reported, but I mean, if we do see that behavior, we'll probably add some verification or captcha. As far as now, if you don't, you can prompt them with the form and make the form required. if you'd like, right? Um, if they're gonna be sitting there and just manually overriding those steps, then somebody's onto you, man. I don't know. Whatever you do, they're gonna they're gonna do it. But if we do see a lot of spamming and stuff coming through, we will definitely add a layer for maybe a little captcha or something.
Thank you, Richard. Question from Lisa. If you train it with product sales page URLs, can
Mhm.
it suggest a page to go to? Just wondering if it can respond with clickable links.
Yeah, it should. It should. And we're working even on this behavior better to display it in a nicer way. But we literally created a but with one use case, we had a Word document, one page that said for these services, display this link for booking, and for these services, display a different booking link. And the bot worked like charm. Very simple Word document that you can put together in 5 minutes. Um, so yes, try it. The more you can feed it in terms of details and information, the better it's going to respond.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Uh, Richard Leland is saying that he added the free bot for now, but can you show him again how to find it?
Yeah, if you went to your add-ons, installed the bot from here, we give you 50 messages for free so you can test it out. And then, I mean, you can upgrade it. I think $20 is the next 1,000 messages, which is plenty for many. Uh, on the left panel, there's an AI chatbot option. If you don't see it, you might need to refresh or try to log out and back in. Sometimes the cache doesn't display those icons for the first time. Okay. So on the left, you should see the AI chatbot right there. But don't forget, for installing it on your site, you need to go to your settings and activate that bot settings. And for deploying it on your landing pages, there's also an option here for the tracker settings AI chatbot. This will probably be on by default in the future. Yeah, so that's that.
Mhm. Yeah, he got it, he said. Refreshed and worked. Thank you, Leland. Will is asking, is the academic classes going to be updated now? That platform has been updated, still learning process.
Yeah, we have some revamping to do on the classes there, so they'll be coming in batches because I do these classes and I've been quite busy. So I will be updating those with my team maybe next month, considering it's a little bit a downtime for us. A lot of people on holidays, and so we might be able to catch up.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you, Richard. Russ is asking, is there a way to train its persona, or is it all going to sound robotic?
Um, Try different prompts there. Again, we're gonna get better at it with feedback and stuff. Um, 4.0 seem to have a little bit better responses as well, but the default credits is using the turbo, primarily because financially speaking, 4.0 will be 10 times more expensive. Um, but try to have the prompt be longer, and if you feel like the prompt is not being followed, just tell the team so they could escalate it into support internal ticket.
Thank you. Richard Lan is asking, can Vbout connect to my SQL database?
It's possible. I know it's going to be a little bit technical, but if you are able to create um, an AI API endpoint that does the work on the front end, which authenticates your database connection and pulls the data from there, then that's going to be the best way to do it, is to create in front of your database very basic endpoints and then connect those to the API data source.
Okay, thank you. Russ is asking, is there a character limit in the prompt?
In the prompt, honestly, I don't think there's really a limit that we enforced, as far as I know. I'll need to get back to you on that, but um, I think the limit is basically in if you are using your own credit system, you're gonna see next to AI chatbot flows an icon here that shows you how many characters were processed and messages. But in the prompt itself, and I'm gonna ask the team if I don't think there's a limit right now. I'm just taking notes here. Yeah, those are great questions.
Yeah, thank you. Richard, now we have two off-topic questions from the first from John.
Okay.
He asked it early in the conversation. I'm learning the Zoom API and would like to link the Zoom phone to Vbout. What options would you think I should look at?
Yeah, John, the API for the Zoom phone is not currently supported by Vbout. We can integrate with Zoom meetings and Zoom webinars, so we can grab registrations and Zoom meetings for booking appointments through our calendar component, but not through the phone for the time being.
Thank you. And the other question from Leland, a little, but is there a way to embed Vbout into other CRM menus such as Airtable, AI Table, etc.?
Um, I'm not sure if you're talking about like on the other side to have them link back to us or have a drop option. I'll need to look into that. But if they are supporting webhooks, which is something we recently launched, and a lot of these products do support webhooks, you can go to our integrations. First, install it from the add-ons section. It's free. And then it's going to show right here as a webhook. So you can literally just connect your um, Airtable through a webhook to Vbout and create a tab there and just call it Vbout. Okay.
Yeah, he typed iframe.
Um, iframe. I don't know if we allow iframe embedding just for security reasons, but I don't see why not trying. I will have to look at it, Leland. I'm sorry, I don't have the answer.
Some do, some don't. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a security setting um on our layer, firewall layer. I think we disabled that, but I could be wrong.
Would love to show you use case.
Yes, please send me rich@vbout.com. I'll put my email here so you can send me a use case. I can look at it for sure.
Pierce is saying that webhook feature is super valuable. Love the progress. Thank you, Pierce. Same with the bots.
Yeah. Thank you guys. The bot honestly has been a lot in the making. The market is shifting a lot and understanding where AI is and where it's headed, the bot will be consistently there. So it's not going to be less useful in the future, particularly because it plugs into your marketing stack, and that's huge. You can find lots of bots online that are independent, and then you have to hook them up to a product, and that's great. But if you are really building that marketing stack, the AI chatbot's going to be right in the middle of it because you want to consolidate your first party information, cookie, and data into one platform, one profile. And that's ultimately the best way to do it. Um, so yeah, Poe, this doesn't integrate yet with can I integrate Poe if it has 4.0 to VBOW? I'm not sure. I'm pretty they're definitely a way to get Poe to Viba, but I'm not sure. I need to see the scenario. Is it adding contact, which was most people do, is add records into the system. Um, but if you're talking about the Poe model, because Poe is multimodal, they're using other platforms as far as I know. There's no direct integration. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Any other questions, guys?
Final questions, you guys. This is I really love this. A lot of people are engaging, loving the bot. We're building it and we keep pushing the envelope here. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
All right.
welcome.
Very good. Very good. Um, well, I guess all I can say right now is thank you for everybody who joined us and invested the hour and 20 minutes of their time to listen to my long talk on AI chatbots. You guys, this is the forefront of AI marketing working together jointly. If you're a team member in a business, you can bring forth some ideas. And if you're an agency, you're looking to add some products to sell to your clients, AI is a great, easy conversation to get through. You can build an AI chatbot for a prospect very easily, demo it, and kind of leverage that to maybe close a deal. So really excited about this topic overall, and I really want to thank you again for joining me today. Definitely thank you, George, for helping me on all things events.
You're
And
welcome.
next month, we will be taking off our events for August. So we will skip next month, but we will keep pushing content and update through our Facebook group and all the other channels, of course. Um, so yeah, thank you so much, you guys. And thank you joining us, Dave from Cancun on vacation and zooming in. Holy moly, man, you are dedicated. So yes, thank you. All right, you guys, thank you. Have a good rest of the day, and
Thank you, guys.
I'll see you soon. Thank you, George.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.